Hi guys, Blake here today with Lilley's Landing. I am here on beautiful upper Lake Taneycomo, and I'm going to do the one cast for you today. Today I am setting in the Narrows. I am spot locked right next to the gravel bar, the flat. And I've been up here fishing for a couple hours, playing around with some stuff, and I finally decided to go ahead and tie on some scuds and give that a try. So what I'm working with here today is a small airlock indicator. I've got a tapered leader that I've had to redo myself, but I've got it running from roughly 4x to 5x to 7x, tapering down. I've got at least 10 foot to play with if I need it. I've got one of Jeremy Hunt's size 14 perfect gray scuds there. It is a weighted scud. It's something that works pretty well whenever you don't want to use split shot and you want it to get down there still. And then about 10 inches below that I have a little tiny size 18 light gray scud, and I'm hoping that because the water's off, they'll be looking for that smaller scud, but the bigger one I've got on there will help get it down. It's been a real windy afternoon. Oh my goodness. Fly line gets wrapped around everything. The wind's actually kind of dying down, which I hope it doesn't die off completely, because that chop is definitely working to my advantage here. And so I noticed as I was pulling up here, which I've been actually fishing more up by Lookout Island, I noticed as I was pulling up here, a lot of those fish are right here on this shelf between the gravel bar and the channel. So I tried to position myself to where I could cast off of the edge of this and over kind of in this deeper water where the fish are at. I don't remember if I ever said what day it was. It is Wednesday, September 22nd. And I'm just going to go ahead and say no fish on the first cast. I was hoping that there'd still be a little bit of residual water kind of just barely running through the Narrows, but it really seems like it's all setting still. So I didn't get that lucky. Fishing reports. I was off today. Came in to tie up some jigs and do the one cast, but I didn't really get any fishing reports. I did get to talk to Captain Blake Harris. He said that they were up here in the trophy area for his trip, and he said black and olive Turner micro jigs were the key. And he said once this wind started blowing in like it has, he said it got a lot better. They were fishing them, he said, about 3.5 foot deep, and he said just about anywhere up here it seemed to be doing the trick. I threw an olive Turner micro jig for just a little bit earlier, and I did catch one fish on it, but I wasn't having a whole lot of luck, so I kept switching methods. Really got to watch these scuds, because even up here with the water off, they're still getting mossed up once that weighted scud pulls it to the bottom. And I'm even going to take and move and shake these, hopefully keep that little back one kind of floating around. I know that once it has enough time, that size 14's hitting the bottom. It's picking up most of the moss. I tried one of these weighted scuds up by Lookout Island, and caught a few fish right there on the really shallow water. It was almost had a movement to it, just enough to kind of push the scud along. I will say though that right there on the back side of the island, there were two guys in a kayak that had parked there, and they were just throwing marabou jigs, and they were absolutely crushing fish in that little pocket back behind the island. I'm gonna pull these in and just make sure that I don't have moss. Oh yeah, there's some moss. So even this scud is a little heavy right now. I think I could get away with just 2 weightless scuds at this point. Oh, we're gonna scoot a little bit off the gravel bar, head over here into just slightly deeper water and see if I can avoid some of that. And I think I'm even gonna shallow this up a touch. But, you know, scuds and midges are always a good way to go. If I'm always just trying to catch some fish no matter what, I'm gonna go to either one of those. And when the water's off, you can throw those scuds just weightless. You just kind of get your depth set right so that they fall and they don't drag the bottom too much. But you got to get them close enough to the bottom. I'll tell you that I had some success on a pink mega worm, kind of up by the golf course. I had it set about 5 to 6.5 foot deep, somewhere in there. And I was just casting it out. I was actually watching it hit the bottom, and then I'd kind of lift the rod and let it pick up and sink back down, and that was usually when they hit it. But the pink mega worm was definitely, it was getting a lot of bites. When I'd cut the tail off and I started hooking a few fish, cut the tail off of the mega worm. But it definitely seemed like it came down to me moving the mega worm to get them to bite it. Well, I've caught a few here and there as I went up the lake, but nothing crazy. Definitely still a little slow. Trying to figure out what my trolling motor's doing here. Oh, if there was just a little more residual movement of the water flowing one direction or the other, this would be, oh, here we go. Oh, I think that was a decent sized fish. I'm using a 3-weight fly rod right now, and like I said earlier, 7X tippet, which is really easy to break. I was trying to let that fish have it, but if he had a hold of that size 18 scud, it just doesn't take much to pull that back out of the corner of their mouth. I will say the one thing I was doing when I got that bite was I was turning around and looking a different direction, but I was also giving my indicator some action. Kind of getting those scuds moving along the bottom there. And I think what I was saying right before I hooked that fish was that if we had just a little bit of residual current, that you wouldn't have to worry so much about that. You could use that little weighted scud and it would just kind of float it just barely along the bottom. Tighten my drag back up just a touch. I just saw a fish swipe at it. I can't actually see the scuds, but I can see my line going down at an angle. I just saw him go down there and roll on top of it. Anyway, I think a big key to this stuff with the water off is giving your flies a little bit of action by moving your indicator around. It obviously, oh, I had him. Same thing I was doing just there. Obviously the wind helps, not for them to be able to see the indicator above moving around, but even when there's no wind blowing, I still move my indicator around. I feel like he may have taken off with my bottom scud. Oh my gosh. Alright, we're on to something now. That's one fish on and 2 bites in the last couple minutes. I'm just casting it out there on top of that drop off and barely wiggling the scuds. Pull them up and make sure I don't have any moss. And he took the bottom scud, darn it. Just tie another one on there real quick. Ooh, those size 18s are so tiny. And this is the kind of thing I really have my little cheaters on my hat for. 7X tippet and size 18 flies. I really didn't even set the hook very hard whenever that fly broke off, but that's just how little it takes. Oh, this wind is not helping my cast either. But I definitely think we could be sitting here in the same spot, throwing the mega worm on this channel. Try to keep these guys from hitting their boat on the gravel. Ooh, there's a massive brown trout right below my boat right now. Probably 25 inches. I'm not even sure if I'd want to hook that on this fly rod right now.
Yeah, I figured that out. Have you had any luck?
I've caught a few here and there. Nothing hasn't really been on fire or nothing. Yeah, that channel comes about 20 foot off the bank coming up the bluff right here.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Fairly shallow the whole way.
So whenever you came around that corner, you line up right alongside these logs, and I mean right on the outside edge of them. It drives straight underneath that overhang tree, and then stay about 20-25 foot off the bank right here past all these other logs. It gets a little bit deeper past that point, and this side over here is usually always shallow. But like right here next to me, it's like a foot deep maybe on this side of the boat.
Might have got my prop right.
You're headed for it.
I dragged, I might have just got the skag. I'm hoping. I hope I didn't get my prop. We enjoy one cast.
I'm doing it right now.
All right.
Yep. Appreciate it. Oh. Oh. Casting with a 3-weight in the wind. Well, I definitely think scuds are a good option. I think anywhere where you can find some... Ooh, that was a bite. They're not hitting it very hard. I know that. I think anywhere where you can find those chutes, like next to, you know, Eagle Island over there on that flat, the Narrows, up by Lookout Point Island. All of those chutes are usually good places to find fish looking for scuds, but you're also going to find them plenty other places. Probably all over there by the golf course. Well, those are all the places I concentrate on. I'm going to scoot up just a little bit farther in the channel here. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of trout over here. Oh man, the number that just swam out from underneath the boat. It's like they were hiding underneath me. Ooh. And it would seem that you're gonna have to spend a lot of time cleaning moss off. whenever I'm fishing a spot with, you know, scuds with no split shot added, I always try to set it a little deeper than the area I'm fishing. So if I'm casting out in a 5 foot of water, I might set them 6 or 6.5 foot deep. I want to give them a little extra room to sink. Seeing that there's some extra moss floating in this area. They're only supposed to turn the water on for 1 hour again today. About 35 megawatts, so not even a full unit for 1 hour. I'd like to land a fish here. I may run out of time to do so. Oh, yay! I was just pulling up to recast again. He's fighting like he's got plenty of oxygen there. Had a, forgot to mention that, we had a 26.5-inch brown caught off the dock this morning. Unfortunately, they did try to revive it. Did not make it. Still a beautiful, beautiful female brown. Really fat too. I think this one took the size 18. Oh yeah. I'll tell you, that is it's an effective thing to do. Use a bigger scud to get their attention, and then something smaller to be more realistic that they might pick up and eat. Nice, pretty rainbow, light spots. I'm gonna end the video there today, landing a fish. But we thank you guys for watching. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll get out here and do it for you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.